Welcome back into Inside Michigan Football, and I'm now joined by one of my former teammates, all-around good dude, and that's Ron Bellamy. First of all, Ron, thanks for joining us. And second, what's it like now being back on the offensive side of things?
Yeah, first, thanks, John. It's always good to see you, man. But thanks for having me on, and super excited to be back on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, more experienced here. Hadn't played receiver at Michigan, haven't played receiver a majority of my playing career. But it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing just to be a coach here at Michigan.
What's it like? Obviously, there's competition between offense and defense. You were over there with Coach Clinkscale. Now you're on this side. What's it like at practice between the two of you guys in your two groups?
Oh man, especially doing one-on-one drills, we get fired up. The
He
kids
seems to be a guy that talks a little trash.
Oh yeah, and the kids feed off our energy, but it's just constant coaching, on both sides, and he'll give receivers pointers sometimes what the DBs are doing, and vice versa. We'll do receivers, we'll walk to the DBs like, hey, when you play with this leverage, this is what we're attacking. So it's been great. Klink's a brother to me, and love him to death, and it's been great for us. It's been great for our team and our kids.
Obviously, you're just a few years removed from coaching high school. How have you and your family adjusted to the new schedule?
We have. They love it. It's Michigan. Wife being a grad, and my kids born in Ann Arbor, so this is home for us. And this is just, they love it. They've embraced it, and this is the life we live.
Kinnick Stadium. You and I have both played there. What have you told your guys? Because nobody on this roster has been to Iowa City to play a game. What have you told your guys of what to expect?
Yeah, we just told them they are the show. Very similar to Nebraska. There's no professional sports teams in Iowa, so the fans are super passionate about the university and their football program. So just you're gonna get a hostile environment. It's our first road game. The pink locker rooms, they know about that. Coach Harbaugh has done a great job, and Coach Jack Harbaugh, came in and spoke to the team and illustrated some of the things that you experienced at Iowa, and so the kids have they got a picture in their mind of what it's like. The stands, the fans are right on top of you, and just understanding that, and just not being surprised by anything that you once you step foot on that inside that stadium, it's a football game. So just getting them ready for that, but we're eager and excited for this challenge.
Is there a better storyteller in this world than Jack Harbaugh?
Oh, no. I've been around a lot of great storytellers, and no one tops Coach Jack. He's a phenomenal storyteller, and I love it because he's so passionate about his stories, and it's like, man, I wish I can go back in time and live in that moment, and but Coach Jack's a phenomenal man, and he's a great storyteller.
You have any memories of games at Kinnick Stadium?
Oh yeah. I was part of that game, and I've only played there once, and it was a 3 p.m. kickoff, and it was in October, and it got dark. It got dark out there. Then you could just see the fans just get a little more rowdy. Yeah. But I was part of the game where Marquise Walker had the unbelievable one-hand catch, 2-point conversion.
Right. Yeah,
and we came out of there with a victory. It was a tough fought game. Seems like every game against Iowa. Last year, the Big Ten championship game was an exception, but every game's a hard-fought game. Those guys are going to bring it, and we're going to bring it too.
And they still play the same defense and offense that they played back when you were playing.
Yeah. It's going to be ball control, and it's going to be a field possession game. It's don't beat yourself. That's how you play against Iowa, and they're going to shorten the football game and try to control the time of possession.
Ronnie Bell is going to join us in just a little bit. And I think it's amazing that he was a basketball player, and then Coach Harbaugh recruited him as a football player. He said, you know what? Hey, I want to play a physical sport. I want to play a real sport. I'm going to go play football. Michigan tears his ACL last year. Now he's back. He's in your room. What can you say or tell us about your view of Ronnie Bell?
I love Ronnie Bell. He's the ultimate competitor. He's a warrior. He's a guy that for me, coming over to receivers, it's a blessing to have him in our room. You love everything about it. The guys in the room love him. Obviously, the team loves him. They voted him captain. He's a 2-time captain here. The thing about Ronnie that you love is he's selfless. Like he does anything and everything for the team above everything else. He wants to win, and he wants to contribute in any way possible. And You love guys like that.
He seems to be a tremendous leader on the field. We know that it was cut short last year, but is there anything from a coach's perspective? Because I ask him all the time, like, "Hey, how's the leg feeling? What is?" And he keeps saying, "No, it's fine. I don't think about it," and I believe him. From a coach's perspective, how do you take care of a guy that's coming off an ACL or any injury, knowing that you need him so much on Saturday, but he also needs practice during the week? How do you handle that situation?
Yeah, you monitor what he's doing during the week. The one thing I told Ronnie when he came back when we started training camp was, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So just, we're going to be working together. I know you're eager to get out there. It's been a year, and, he's passionate about football, and passionate about being with his teammates. But all in all, my job along with the, Coach Harbaugh and the other coaches and the trainers is to make sure that, he's out there, doing the right thing, and he has longevity with it. And, Ronnie's been great. He's been great with that.
One of the things I've loved watching him, and I don't know if this is something you guys have emphasized or if it's just Ronnie Bell, but when there's a 50-50 ball, it seems like Ronnie is one of the most aggressive guys that going after it. And then when he gets the ball, it is scratch and claw for every single yards after contact. Is that something that, from a coach's perspective, guys have or they don't? How much can you bring that out in a guy that you don't necessarily see it in?
Yeah, it's a mentality. Ron, that's his mentality. He's he's aggressive. That ball, you can see a lot of the basketball background show up with those 50-50 balls in the air. He's going high point and he's going to get that rebound, right? But it's a mentality. It's mine and no one else's. And what I love about it is it becomes infectious in the room. And guys see how Ronnie not only attacks the football, but he attacks running routes. He attacks blocking. And it becomes infectious. And guys, the next guy's like, man, I want to be there. I want to make that play. And, just keep let's build off it. It's energy in our room.
You want to talk about something that's infectious when you see wide receivers block. One of the things as a former offensive lineman that I used to love is, hey, you spring a guy and all of a sudden you've got guys downfield blocking. Why is it so much better this year with this group?
I can't speak on last year. I can speak on this year is the one thing we talked about was we all buying in, and no matter what happens, we out there fighting for our brothers. And whether it's a run play, pass play, we're going to go out there. We're going to have good technique, and we're going to have shocking effort out there, and we're going to leave it on the field. And we talk about it. One guy makes a big block, then the next guy makes it, and it doesn't matter, whether it's the running backs protecting for the quarterback or any of our receivers on the perimeter pass game. We love blocking, and we love getting after people.
I want to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about the rest of the talent that you've got in your room, because it's a deep room, and there's only one ball. You got to figure out how to spread it around. We'll talk about that next in just a moment. You're listening to Inside Michigan Football from Learfield. Welcome back to Inside Michigan Football. Coach Ron Bellamy is still with us. And, Coach, when you look at the depth of talent that you have in that room, I mean, you're going 8 deep. And I know there's some veteran guys, some young guys. Just, first of all, tell us about your room and your estimation of the talent that you have in that room.
It's a great room. What makes the room very unique is that everyone brings something different to the table. Ultimately, the goal is whatever position you're playing out there, you go out there and you attack it every day. Attack it in the meetings, attack it in practice, and good things that happen on Saturday for you. So that's the mentality in our room. But the blessing part about it is, we have an experienced room and guys that can play multiple positions in our offense, and that makes it good for us as coaching, game planning wise, that you can move guys around and keep the defense on the heels.
Mikey Sammer still have a seat in there?
Sure does.
Looking at that room, and we talked about Ronnie in the last segment, but let's bounce around just a little bit. AJ Henning, he's a guy that seems to me exactly what you're talking about. You can line up in a number of different places. You use him in different ways, whether it's lining up in the backfield, reverses, throwing him the ball. Obviously, we know what he could do in the punt return. What do you see when you look at AJ Henning?
Explosive. He's a guy. Now, what a lot of people don't know, everyone's used to seeing AJ Henning on end around sweeps, quick pass game, getting a ball in hand guy, punt return. But when you really watch the game, he gets after in the run game. All right, blocking for his teammates. and he's physical. You know, AJ's a physical guy. He loves football, and that's what makes AJ just a dynamic football player in my eyes. Is that he can attack you in all facets of the game. You know, in a run game, whether he has the ball in his hand, him blocking, or him catching passes.
Cornelius Johnson, a guy that seems very reliable coming across the middle, but he's also, whenever there seems to be a long pass, we look down there and there's number 6. He seems to be one of those deep threats. You know, I actually do want to ask you this question too. There were last Saturday a number of balls that were just out of the reach of the receivers. How do you work on that timing so those aren't near misses, but they're basically touchdowns at that point?
Yeah, I just think it's just one of those things where maybe you clean up a little technique here or there, but you just continue to work on routes on the air and the timing with the quarterbacks, and you know those things will show up later. You know that you can get open.
Yeah.
You know, quarterback know you get open, and it's just a matter of us just hitting it. And you know, it's just keep working at it, and those things will come.
What does CJ add to your room?
Yeah, veteran leadership. You know, he's another guy. This is 4th year in the program, 4th year in the system, and you know he knows the system pretty well. And he's another guy you can move around, and you know he can hurt you in a plethora of ways. You know, he's a guy that you mentioned a minute ago. He can come across the middle, run some digs, and he'll blow the top off a route. He'll hit you on the post. Deep ball, vertical game, slants. He could do it all, and he's another one that mixes up in a run game. You know, he's a bigger guy, 6'2" receiver, and he'll mix it up and get physical too. But he's a complete receiver.
Do you have a chart in your room because of the new redshirt rules, the COVID year? How many years of eligibility your guys have?
Well, we know.
Because I was asking Ronnie Bell earlier. I'm like, hey man, because I lose it. Like, how many years left? And he's like, man, I think I got two years left.
Mm-hmm.
That seems amazing to me that there's so many guys especially on this team that are major contributors, but they've got 2 and 3 years left.
Right.
When you look at that possibility as a coach, how excited do you get?
Very excited. You want good football players, you want veterans, you want leaders in your room, and we have that. And if the guys to get with Coach Harbaugh and coach season, the kids see like, hey, I want to come back, then obviously you welcome back with open arms because great football players, but even better people. And that's what you want to be surrounded by. That's Michigan football.
Roman Wilson, the first 2 games, he opened up the scoring on both of them. What's unique about Roman?
He's twitchy. He's one of the twitchiest guys I've ever been around. Roman is he can run the assortment of routes, do different things. I think a lot of people think of him as just a give him space and then he's gonna, but he could do it in tight spaces, tight windows. He could play outside. He could play slot. He could do a lot of great things for us. And I know I keep bringing up the blocking part, but we're so passionate about blocking and taking care of our brothers that he's another one that go in there and dig out a safety or go seal an edge. He doesn't care. Those guys they're selfless and they just want to win. What's
the potential of Andrell Anthony? Because we saw him go off last year in East Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at him, what do you see in terms of his potential?
He could be whatever he wants to be. He could be a superstar. Andrell has all the physical traits, right? He has size, speed, athleticism. He's smart. He's passionate about football, loves football, the way he attacks it every day. And, it's one of those things where, you keep working, and boom, much like last year for Drell, that shining moment comes. And Drell, there's no doubt in my mind, Drell's going to be ready for it. He shows up every day.
You've got 4 young guys, but 3 freshmen. You got a redshirt freshman, Darius Clemens, Amarion Walker, Tyler Morris, and Peyton O'Leary, who we got a chance to see a little bit more of in spring ball, but also in the first 3 games. How do you work those guys in?
Yeah, so they understand, like each player has, like I said, it's a role, right? When you're a young guy and you're in such a deep, talented room like this, and they understand, but the mentality of those guys is they're prepared like they're starters. And, there's times when, you want to keep your guys fresh and the young guys come in there and, whether it be a run play or pass play, it doesn't matter. We have the ultimate confidence in those guys, considering they all have caught a pass in the game, all 4 of them. So we have the ultimate confidence in those guys, and they have great leaders in front of them that they're learning from in each position. You look at Ronnie and, how, Amarion kind of looks at him and just like, okay, that's my big brother. Like, I want to emulate a lot of things. And Tyler's doing that with Roman and AJ, and Darius is doing that with Cornelius and Ronnie himself and Andrell. So these young guys have great examples in front of them that they can learn from. And I told them, experience is the best teacher for us. And, you include having veteran leadership in front of you, and those guys are growing every week, and you love where they're at.
Marion, we saw him on both sides of the ball in the first couple of games. It's got to be a huge advantage for him to have a coach like you who's played on both sides of the ball, who's coached on both sides of the ball. How do you help a young player who's still working on offense and defense?
Yeah, so I experienced that, and once we started doing that with him, I had that experience my freshman year, and it's like, okay, hey, I want to overwhelm you. Like, you meet with defense at this time, come back, meet with offense separately at this time, in addition to your position meetings with your group, just so his wires aren't crossed, he doesn't get overwhelmed. He's a super smart kid. Obviously being able to, pull off double duties, but he's built for it. And he loves it, and we just make sure that we don't put too much on his plate, and he loves it. I think it's going to be helpful for us.
What is the potential of this offense, but especially your group of wide receivers?
I think the potential for us is very great. We have phenomenal play callers in Sharon Moore and Matt Weiss, and Coach Harbaugh. Like, I think sometimes people like Coach Harbaugh is a great head coach. Coach Harbaugh is a great person, great head coach. But he also played in the NFL for a very long time. Coach Harbaugh is also coaching the NFL. He's been around ball for a long time. And just having another brain, a smart mind like that, on our side of the ball is you can't, it's very useful and helpful for us, right? And then, you add the veteran leadership of our offensive line, and, you put the veteran receivers and the veteran tight ends, and then you got, Blake and Dono, and, you got the young running back stepping up, and, now JJ surrounded by, just a bunch of leadership, right? And now, you still have a guy like Cade who's in there, who's experienced a lot. This offense, the sky's the limit for us, and, our goal is just to attack every day and just keep getting better and better each and every opportunity that we can get out there.
Last question. And you're in a unique position because you coached a lot of these guys or some of these guys in high school. Mm-hmm. When you're out there and you're watching them, do you ever go back into that head coach mode of trying to, especially the guys that are on the other side of the ball? Hey, I got to tell them this. I got to tell them this.
No, I don't. It was weird. Like, I coached Makari Page last year, having him in high school, it was just weird. It was weird, like coaching, like, all right. And the one thing, like Donovan, I remember last year I was joking with Coach Hart, and Donovan, he asked for something, and I said, "Bro, I'm not your coach anymore." So he was like, "What?" He's like, "We came here together." So, but all in all, like, we able to separate it, and it's they know they can always come to me about anything. So, you have a relationship that dates over a decade.
Yeah. Well, Coach, appreciate it. It's really weird for me to call you Coach now, too. But, hey, I really appreciate you stopping by, and best of luck this weekend in Iowa City.
Thanks, and go Blue.